Good morning, my brother.
Good to have you,
Happy
sir.
Boxing
Happy
Day.
Boxing Day. Good to have you. How have you been?
No, we're cool. We're cool. In the east,
Okay.
Owerri is bustling. So beautiful to be home, and it's wonderful.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. So now you are speaking from Owerri. Before we get into this conversation, I'd like for you to, give us a feel, of what is going on in Owerri. Are houses locked? Are the streets empty? Are people scared? When people walk the streets of Owerri, what do they feel? The streets of Imo State, is it some kind of safety or a sign of surrender? What sense does it look like to you?
Well, the place is safe. It's bustling. It's the Christmas festivities are all over. Masquerades are dancing everywhere in the communities that have masquerades. Church ceremonies are taking place. So the East, Owerri in particular, is very peaceful. And I will invite everybody to come over. Have a feel of the place. For a very long time, what has been happening in the Southeast has been orchestrated, externally orchestrated. And most of us here feel that even the security agencies, the government security agencies, and their mercenaries, particularly Asaidokubo and his people, have been part of the nonsense. But the people have come back and they are in full control of their place now. So there's even no space for any funny things to happen. The Indo are fully on ground.
All right, beautiful. But I'd like for you to, to react to the information we have this morning that, look, United States has hit some ISIS targets in parts of the Northwest. Did it come to you as a surprise?
Certainly not. Certainly not. You see, the U.S. is a process-driven country. They announce policy and allow the process to roll out, and then mark out their targets and hit them at will. That is what has happened now. A few weeks back, some people were saying that it was all bluster, that after the visa ban on Nigerians, the U.S. government has shown that it really had no interest in any part of Nigeria. But the reality is this: the entire world has a duty to protect, a responsibility to protect where people have been almost killed on a daily basis by terrorists and by their own security agencies. So I was not surprised in any way whatsoever, and I actually expect more. I expect more in the sense that there is claimed by the government that they were part of it, they were all that stuff. We know this just being politically correct. If they had told the Nigerian authorities what they were going to do, all the terrorists will leave that place.
Okay.
And then the question now should be addressed to the Sultan of Sokoto, who claims to be the Lord and Master of the entire Sokoto Caliphate. Was the Sultan aware of the presence of this ISIS in his territory? What has Sultan Said done to restrain these killers from operating from Sokoto? If he is part of it, if in any way he's found to be complicit in the presence of these criminal elements, then perhaps there should be more direct efforts to curtail the excesses of the Sultan.
Okay.
Because on several occasions, this same Sultan has come out blazing and making so much noise. Now the terrorists are in his domain and he's not done much. That is what I can say.
Okay, now, Barrister Eluche, you understand that I would like for us to talk about the implication of this. Do you think that this strike is going to bring peace and lasting peace, if I may say? I ask that in the light of the fact that a certain cleric, an affiliate, somebody who is known, to be an intermediary between Nigerians, or so to say, between the terrorists and the government at some point, talking about Sheikh Gumi. He was on this station the other time and he said, look, if Donald Trump as much as touches one of these bandits or terrorists, that the terrorists and the bandits who are Muslims were going to unleash mayhem on Christians. Do you see that coming? And if that happens, do you think that America's involvement is going to bring lasting peace in Nigeria? Or is it going to make Nigeria unravel like places like Afghanistan, places like Yemen, where you have sectarian war, or places like Iraq and all of that? Do you think it's going to bring lasting peace?
Now, I have very many Muslim friends, and nobody wants terrorists in his domain. So characters like Sheikh Gumi were talking absolute nonsense. And the more he talks, the more he makes himself complicit in this criminality. So let him come out and unleash that mayhem, and he will see the stars that he deserves. In fact, the inability of the Nigerian government to curtail such elements is what makes some of us believe that the Nigerian government of...
My Baba, they always say, for market, every day gets your own wahala. Sometimes.
And collaborating with these terrorists. If a country like Saudi Arabia, the bastion of Islam, can deny Gumi entry visa, why must Nigeria tolerate such characters, such criminal elements? And when you say it's a go between the government and the terrorists, that's not true. The man is in fact, he's in bed with terrorists. He collects money on their behalf. He is, by what he does, a terrorist. The fact that this government continues to tolerate such elements makes us believe that the government is complicit. I do not believe that any Muslim anywhere will feel associated with this element. With this
apart from Sheikh Ahmed Gumi, barrister, we have also a Professor Usuf, a certain Professor Yusuf, who told the newly appointed Minister of Defense that he shouldn't go all out, in flushing out these elements. Rather, they should also employ the non-kinetic measure. And, in handling, he's already say, I don't think Muslims are in support of this. We've seen some of them come out to say, don't go all out. Don't use military might. And in the words of the Yusufi said, now, Christopher Musa, remember you're now a political elected official, appointed official, no longer a military personnel. So don't go all out with your fist on these bandits or elements we have in Nigeria.
No, I only mentioned Sheikh Gumi as an example. Him and all others of his like, all cohorts, all those who have the same views with him, that you must engage and discuss and negotiate with terrorists, should be dealt with. And the average Muslim on the street is peace-loving. Islam, like they say, is a religion of peace. So those who terrorize in the name of Islam are not tolerated anywhere, even in the Islamic world, in the Arabian Peninsula, in Saudi, in UAE, in Kuwait. Those guys are slaughtered. So let those who claim they are in support of these terrorists in Nigeria, let them come out and let us see them.
Now, do you think the Nigerian government will do anything to make sure we end the issue of terrorism, especially when, according to Goodluck Jonathan, when he was there, he said that in his cabinet he has some members of Boko Haram, group there, and also we've also learned from the former governor of Kaduna State that the government of the Kaduna State presently is more like negotiating with bandits to the tune of 1.something billion being spent on them. And we saw what was playing out with I think the State Minister for Defense, where people have been pointing him as someone who is in good book of this terrorist, to the likes of George Bello coming up to tell Nigerians that Matawale should not be arrested, but the former governor of Castina and Zamfara should go in. So do you think we're going to end the issue of attacks or banditry or terrorism, let me use the word now, in Nigeria anytime soon, even with the involvement of the United States of America?
Well, the thing is, attack on terrorists should continue until they are totally eliminated. When people like even Nasir El-Rufai begins to talk, you wonder what he's just trying to save his neck. We know what he even told Nigerians he did as a governor. Nasir El-Rufai publicly claimed that he went as far as Mali, Burkina Faso, to pay off terrorists who were coming to kill people in Southern Zaire. So he cannot now come and start changing. We know his characters. And even people like the current vice president, Kashim Shettima, it was in his house that Kabiru Sokoto was arrested. So let us not mince words. If it means anybody who is involved in terrorism, no matter how highly placed, must be brought to justice, because they are criminals. And I'm not saying that the vice president is he's implicated. He is implicated. As governor of Borno State, what did he do? What was his role when Boko Haram was bombing and killing people? Now, what should be an eye-opener for Nigerians is this. When you see turbaning ceremonies, when you see wedding fatihas, where thousands of people gather, of the high and mighty, of those who are in bed with terrorists, you don't see them being bombed by these terrorists. Why? Because they know themselves. They only go for school children. If you are holding a wedding fatiha or you are holding a turbaning ceremony in the Emir's palace, in the Sultan's palace, and nothing happens, you begin to suspect that maybe nothing is happening because they know these terrorists. And we have now realized that indeed the terrorists are on the payrolls of these governments.
All right.
So
thank you.
Enough of all these prevarications. Let the government come out frontally and destroy terrorists. And if Bola Ahmed Tinubu does not act accordingly, if he does not act well against terrorists, he will be treated as one in collusion with terrorists.
Thank you so much, Barrister Izaluche, for a submission. Let's get Mr. Comrade Frank Ahiosh join the conversation. Comrade Frank.